Hey, welcome collectors of all ages. This is Mike with Jayhawker Vintage Cards, and today was a surreal day. It's something and I experienced that as a kid I read about and daydreamed about and pictured in my mind 100 times, and I got to experience that live and in person, and it gave me goosebumps. And what it was I got to go to the boyhood home of Mickey Mantle. So a little bit of background for that. I decided to go down from Kansas City area to Oklahoma City to go to a card show. And at the card show, I was going to meet up with my Oklahoma buddy, Rusty Vintage Cards, and his friend, Alan. Now the plan originally was I was going to drive down, attend the show, hang out with them for a little bit, and then drive back. I've got an arthritic back and hip, and sometimes it doesn't do very well, and especially when I drive for a while. So I decided to do the wise thing and get a room. Well, knowing this, another YouTube buddy of mine, Ross of Ross Loves Cards, made the just brilliant suggestion saying, Mike, on the way back, why don't you make a detour? Instead of going back the way you came, why don't you go to the Northeast and go through Tulsa and go to Commerce, Oklahoma, and see the boyhood home of Mickey Mantle? Well, that just rang off all kinds of light bulbs in my head, because Mickey Mantle was my dad's favorite player as a kid, as he was to millions of kids who grew up, in the 40s and 50s and even into the 60s. Well, what this video is supposed to be about, in addition to that, was I was going to do this defense of Mickey Mantle, because he's been getting a lot of flack from YouTubers, from hobbyists, who don't understand why he is so popular. They're just looking at the stats. After going to his boyhood home and experience what I felt, how surreal it was. I mean, I got goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about it. I decided that's too negative. I just want to make this positive. So I'm going to just talk to you about his boyhood home, and I'm going to show you some videos. Now, the house itself is decent shape. Nobody's living there now. You can't go inside, and I didn't even look through the windows. The barn, the tin barn, that place that I daydreamed about and reading those stories about him and his dad and his grandpa, that's where he learned how to hit. I got to stand there right by that tin barn that's about ready to fall apart. And you could see the house. It's just right there. It's not very far away. And I could just picture, 5 or 6 year old Mickey Mantle standing there. His dad throwing to him right-handed, Mickey hitting left-handed. His grandpa pitching to him left-handed, Mickey hitting right-handed. I could just picture that. I could see him hitting line drives off the house, busting out windows, hitting moonshots like he did in Yankee Stadium, all over the American League, over the roof. And then I started thinking about my dad teaching me how to play baseball when I was little, and taking me to my first tryout when I was 6. And then I started thinking about myself teaching my son baseball when he was little, just a toddler. And I got emotional, I'll tell you. But it was really a focus on Mickey Mantle. That's what I was thinking about. So what's weird about this house is it was bought by an investment firm, the last I heard, like in 2022 or something like that. And their plan was to sell shares, which I think they did, but to sell shares in the house for like $7 a share, which was Mickey Mantle's number. I don't know much about it. I didn't really care to research it, because that's just business. I don't give a crap. But it was surreal. So I'm going to just stop this for a second, and I'm going to show you some very short videos that I took this morning. This was in the morning. You hear the bugs were just incredibly loud. I mean, I could barely hear myself think. That's not atypical for Oklahoma and Kansas in the fall, normally in the evenings, but this is like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't remember exactly what time it was. So I'm going to show you that video, and then come back and I'm going to show you the cards I have in my Mickey Mantle collection. Don't have a great collection, not like some of you do, but I'm proud of what I have. And like I said, just thinking about today, standing there, I've got goosebumps. So watch this video. We are at the boyhood home of the Commerce Comet, Mickey Mantle. As a huge baseball fan, Mickey Mantle fan, it's surreal. There is the famous barn. We'll walk over there in just a second, where his dad and grandpa taught Mickey how to switch hit. So let's head over there. So we are looking at the tin barn, which is pretty much dilapidated, which is really sad. This really should be a much better museum, but I am actually standing, and you can see dents on the side here, left, I'm sure, by years of pitching to him. But I'm actually standing in front of the barn. There's the house, and they had a system where I think if they hit a ball like that hit below the windows, it was considered a single. And of course, who knows how many he launched over this house. Very simple house. I think it's about 600 square feet. But this is where the Mick learned to switch hit. I am not going to go inside there because it looks like this thing could fall down at any moment. This is really surreal, guys. Mickey Mantle was the only like vintage player my dad ever talked about. It was my dad's favorite player when he was little. You know, back when he was growing up, there wasn't games on TV. And then when there finally was games, the World Series, it was the Yankees every year. It's surreal standing here. It's really cool, I have to admit. So in honor of Mickey, this is the first Mickey Mantle card that I ever got. I got this back when I was pretty young. Probably, well, 83, 84. Holding this where the Mick learned how to switch hit is pretty damn cool. And then the card I picked up yesterday down here at a show in Oklahoma City. So there's the ground. Again, you can see down low here. I don't know if it'll show very well up on the camera. And I don't know. This may be where it was, because you can really see some dents down here. I'm guessing because there's the house, and I know they use the house as like a target. I don't know if you can see that or not, but you can imagine a little kid. That's going to be about where the strike zone would have been, what they would have been aiming for, and you can really see the dents down there. They're not up high, they're down here. Now Mickey, of course, like I said, was a switch hitter, and his dad, Mutt, threw right-handed, so Mickey would bat left-handed against his dad, and his grandpa threw left-handed, so Mickey would bat right-handed when his grandpa's pitch. But boyhood home of Mickey Mantle. Pretty cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It was short and brief, and like I said, the bugs are probably making it hard to hear. But I'm going to show you just a few pictures here that I took as I'm talking right now of the home and then also of the barn. Like I said, it was so cool to see where those balls that Mickey missed pounded that tin pounded that tin barn over and over again. You could see the area down low, like where a kid would be standing. And it was so surreal to stand there and turn and see that house, and just imagining him knocking the heck out of that house with line drives, busting out windows, hitting moonshots over there. It was so surreal to see. You know, this mythic baseball player was this flesh and blood like you and me. You know, most of us played baseball when we were little, but we weren't the Mick. And so it was just so cool. Now, I'm going to read off the plaque that's on the house. That way, you know, I can show it up here, but it's going to be super boring to do that. So I'm just going to read it real quick. Boyhood home of Mickey Mantle, where Mickey learned to play the game. 319 South Quincy Street. When Mickey was 3 years old, his family moved to this location. At the age of 5 or 6, his father started teaching him how to hit. They used the tin barn as their backstop. Mutt, his father, would pitch righty, and Mickey's grandfather would pitch lefty, while teaching him the fine art of switch hitting. Every day, when his father returned home from the mines, he and Mickey would start batting practice that lasted until dark. They made up games to add some fun to Mickey's batting lessons. A ball hit below the windows was a single. Above the windows, a double. The roof a triple, and over the house was a home run. Mickey once said, "I was the only kid in town that didn't get in trouble for breaking a window." Mutt's dream and Mickey's hard work took him from the lead and zinc mining district in Oklahoma to the skyscrapers and bright lights of New York City. Mickey, the Commerce Comet, blasted into the national scene in the 1950s to become a great American icon. He entertained the world with his boyish Oklahoma charm and his amazing Paul Bunyan-like heroics. His tremendous popularity is what sparked the massive sports memorabilia industry that continues to flourish today. Again, that's the plaque that's on Mickey Mantle's Boyhood home, and I really couldn't say it better. That just kind of sums everything up. So to wrap this video up, I'm just going to show you cards from my collection of Mickey Mantle, and we'll start off with this one. This is a 1983 Topps reprint set, Mickey Mantle. And Topps being Topps, you can see it's off-center. You'd think, you know, for something like this, the quality control would be a little bit better, but apparently, no. Here's a 1968 Superstars. Harmon Killebrew, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle. Here's a 1968 Topps game. It's a shame that it's a single. Should be a home run, right? This is one of the oldest Mickey Mantle cards that I had as a kid that I sent off for grading this year. 1966 Topps. Really like the backs on those. You can really read the stats pretty well. Here's a 1965 Topps. Cool back. You probably don't need to see the backs on these, do you? This is a sentimental card for me because I had it for a long time and I thought I had lost it. And I actually included this in a video that I did about some items I found in a storage tub. And I've still got several storage tubs, so if you want to go back and watch that. But I thought this was a card that I had sold years ago when I used to set up as a dealer at shows. And I happened to be looking through the storage tub, and I was actually holding a box that was inside the storage tub. And when I found this, I was so excited, I dropped it. It's the 1964 Topps Giant. Now, talk about a beautiful, affordable set, 64 Topps Giants. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if people used to get autographs on these, but I can't imagine a better set to get autographed. Especially if you can get some Sharpies. You know, people that live long enough to sign these with a Sharpie, whew, I bet they're beautiful. Now here's an item I actually picked up at the show in Oklahoma. 64 Topps coin. Now it says 30 bucks on this, right? Which is a great deal considering how good a condition that it's in. But I basically got this as a throw-in. Now I did a video about the cards I picked up down there, so I'm not going to repeat that. But that one just posted Saturday night, so it's out there if you want to see it. And you can kind of skip through the first half when I just show a bunch of cards from the Oklahoma guys who were born in Oklahoma, which is cool. But if you just want to see my pickups, you can just skip through about halfway, maybe a little more. You can see the cards I picked up. Here's a 63 Jello. All right, here's a 62 Topps. I really like the 62 Topps because it has this 1961 stats on the back, which I'm sure you won't be able to see it with the glare. Here's another card I picked up at the show yesterday. 1961. Now this is a card that I had a really nice example of that my dad bought for me at a garage sale back in the mid-80s. He bought a sack of cards. I've talked about this 100 times, but it's just so cool. But he bought a sack, like a lunch sack, about 3/4 of the way full of 61 Topps and some 62s. Just beautiful shape. And the Mantle was in there. And I've sold that one years ago when I used to set up at shows. So I've been wanting to get a nice example of that. And I love this one for the price. So happy I found this down there. Cool card. Here's a 1960 Topps Rival All-Stars, Mantle and Boyer. Boyer should be in the Hall of Fame. But this is about Mickey Mantle. We're going to talk about Mickey Mantle. That's a cool card. Here's a 1959 Topps Mantle hits 42nd homers for Crown. Here's my first Mickey Mantle that you saw in that video, the short video down there. This is the first Mantle card that I owned. 1958 Topps All-Star, which I think this was triple printed, so it's still affordable today. So if you want to start a Mantle collection, this is a good way to start to see if you like it, which I'm sure you will. It's Mickey Mantle. Who wouldn't? And then I skipped some. I was trying to do these in order, but here's another 61 MVP. Another card from the sack. The infamous sack. And here is 61 Sporting News All-Star Mickey Mantle. $1960. Really cool card with the stadium in the background there. Now this is a card I also had. A lot of these I had as a kid, but here's another card that I had as a kid. And I knew when I got it, it was probably trimmed when I got home and started really looking at it. And I sent it off for grading this year, and it was. But it's still beautiful. World Series batting foes. Hank Aaron, Willie Mays. Love that card. Love it. Here is a 1957 Mickey Mantle. Again, I love looking at the back of this, the stats, because it has his 1956 season, which, of course, he won the Triple Crown. $1956. Hard to show this one without getting a glare on it. And this is the first big Mantle, big for me anyway, that I got. I got this as a junior in high school. 1955 Bowman. And again, I sent these cards off for a grading. Boy, there's some really bad glare there. So that's kind of my Mantle run. I don't have anything earlier than that. Now, I do have some relics. So I'll just kind of go from the newest relic to the oldest. So this is a 2024 Leaf all-time lumber card, lumber draft. And I'll read the names off and show you the cards, and it still has a plastic thing on this one. But this has bat pieces of Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, Hank Aaron, Joe DiMaggio, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and Ted Williams. And this is card numbered 1 of 2. So again, I don't know how the glare is going to show. It's probably not going to show up too well. But I love the relic cards. This one here is a 2019-2020 Leaf 1960s Mount Rushmore, numbered 5 of 9. This has Mickey Mantle, Bobby Hull, Jim Brown, and Kansas Jayhawk, Wilt Chamberlain. I like the ones with the Yankees that have the pinstripe. Those are really cool. This is a 2019 Leaf Pearl Magnificent Materials 1 of 3 Mickey Mantle. And there's 4 pinstripes on that one, I believe. This is a 2018 Leaf All-Time Enshrined, meaning they were enshrined in this year, which was 1974, into their respective Hall of Fames. This is a 1 of 1, Jack Nicklaus and Mickey Mantle. Pretty card. Yeah, it's Leaf. That's okay. They made some cool relics. This is a 2020 Leaf Superlative Sports something or other. Greatness. This is numbered 4 of 5. Again, another pretty card. And the last one I'm going to show is really cool. This is a 2008 Topps Triple Threads DiMaggio, Gehrig, Mantle. And I believe this is numbered 9 of 27. So all 3 of those have some pinstripe into it, even that DiMaggio down at the bottom. So anyway, that was my surreal day. I can't thank Ross enough for suggesting that I go and spend some time at the Mickey Mantle's Boyhood home. I mean, I don't even know how to say it. It's so cool. If you were a Mickey Mantle fan, if you want to see that place, I would go down there because that tin barn looks like it's on its last legs. But if you're ever in that area, if you're going down Route 66, stop by. You'll get, if you're a Mantle fan like me, and I'm sure there's a lot of you out there who are even bigger Mickey Mantle fans than I am, you're going to get goosebumps. It's that cool. It's just a yard. This is a tiny little house, like 670 square feet. It's nothing fancy, but you can just feel it. You can just feel it. You can see Mickey as a little kid there. We've seen pictures of Mickey Mantle when he was little, and you can just see it in your mind and while you're standing there. It's so cool. I mean, I could visually just see balls just getting shot over that roof. And who would have thought what he would become? Anyway, until next time, I hope you enjoyed this video. Keep on enjoying collecting. Collect for the right reasons. For fun.